The average American homeowner over the age of 65 is paying a property tax bill every single year that is hundreds and in many cases thousands of dollars higher than it legally needs to be. Not because they did anything wrong, not because they missed a deadline years ago that cannot be undone, but because there is a shelf in your county assessor's office right now holding a stack of forms with your name on them, forms that would dramatically lower or in some cases completely eliminate your annual property tax bill. And nobody whose job it is to collect your money is ever going to walk over and hand them to you. Before we get to those forms, let me address the two assumptions that cause most seniors to stop watching a video like this before the first 2 minutes are over. The first assumption is that property tax exemptions are only for low-income retirees who are really struggling. If you own a comfortable, paid-off home, you hear the word exemption, and you assume none of it applies to your situation. The second assumption is the opposite, that this is only for people with large estates and professional advisors. So if you live mostly on a Social Security check, you tune out too. Both assumptions are wrong. And both are quietly costing people at every single income level real money every year. Here is the honest truth about why almost nobody tells you these forms exist. Your county assessor's office is funded by the property taxes it collects. Every dollar in exemption they approve is a dollar that does not reach their own operating budget the following year. The county does not call you when you turn 65 to explain which forms just became available to you. Your mortgage company does not flag it on your statement. The real estate agent who sold you your home did not bring it up at closing. Nobody in this system is financially motivated to help you pay less. That is the reality, and that is exactly why this channel exists. I want to say something directly to every person watching this right now. I am building this channel into a community of 10,000 seniors and family members who refuse to keep quietly overpaying what the law was never supposed to take from them in the first place. If you are 50 or older, or if you have a parent, a neighbor, anyone in your life who is this is your channel. Because the most expensive mistake I see year after year is not fraud, and it is not carelessness. It is the honest, careful senior in their 60s, 70s, or 80s who has done everything right their entire life, paid every bill, raised a family, built something real, and who is now handing money to the county every single year that the law never required them to pay. There is no alarm that goes off when this happens. There is no late notice. There is just money leaving their account quietly year after year that never had to leave at all. That ends today for everyone watching this video. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on the bell. We are building something here that every senior in this country deserves access to plain English explanations of the rights, the tax laws, and the money that belongs to them. Subscribe now and let us get into the 5 forms. Now, before Form 1, I want to ask you something real. Think about your property tax bill right now. Has it gone up every single year for the last 5 years? And in all those years, has anyone from the county ever called to explain why? Drop your answer in the comments below. I want to know how many people watching this video have never received a single proactive explanation for a bill that has been climbing every year on a home they have already paid off. Tell me what state you are in and whether you have ever been told any of these forms exist. Form 1 is the homestead exemption, and this is the gateway to everything else on this list. Most counties will not approve a single additional exemption unless the homestead is already on file. Here's what it does. It removes a portion of your home's assessed value from the calculation before the county ever determines what you owe. Florida removes $50,000. Texas removes $100,000 on the school portion. Illinois removes $6,000. Georgia removes $2,000. Every state is different, but every state is real money. Here is where people get caught in most states. The homestead exemption is not automatic when you buy a home. You have to file a 1-page application with your county appraisal office, usually before April 30th of the year you want it to take effect. File it once, and in most states, it stays on your property permanently as long as you own the home. One piece of paper, one time, hundreds or even thousands of dollars off your bill every single year going forward. Your one action after this video: call your county assessor's office and ask one specific question. Is the homestead exemption currently on file for my property in my name? If the answer is no, ask for the form today. Form 2 is the senior exemption, and this is the form the county will almost never mail you on its own. It is a completely separate application that kicks in the year you turn 65 and must be specifically requested by name. In Texas, every homeowner 65 or older gets an additional $10,000 off the school portion on top of the homestead. In Florida, the senior exemption can add another $50,000 on top of the basic homestead, doubling the entire reduction. In New York, it can knock up to 50% off the assessed value for qualifying seniors. Here is the part that stops comfortable retirees from filing when it should not. Many people assume there is an income test they will fail. In more than half the states that offer this exemption, there is no income test at all. Texas, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, the qualification is your age and your address, nothing else. You turn 65. You live in the home. You file the form. You get the exemption. Before Form 3, and Form 3 is the single most valuable form on this entire list. I want to ask you something personal. How many of you have a parent or grandparent who has lived in the same home for 20 or 30 years, watched the neighborhood change, and appreciate all around them, and has been quietly paying tax on every dollar of that appreciation without a single person in the family ever asking whether there was a form that could have frozen it? Drop a comment below if that sounds like someone you know, because what I am about to tell you is for them. Form 3 is the senior assessment freeze. When you turn 65 and file this application, the county locks your home's taxable value at whatever it is the year you apply. From that day forward, it does not matter how much your neighborhood gentrifies, it does not matter how much the houses on your street appreciate. Your property tax is calculated on the frozen number, not the new one. In Texas, once you file the over 65 tax ceiling, your school district tax is frozen at the actual dollar amount you paid that year. Your home can triple in value. That bill cannot move. The homeowner across the street who filed this form when their home was worth $220,000 is paying tax on $220,000 today, even if that home is now worth $440,000. Their neighbor who never filed is paying on $440,000. Same street, same year, built, same neighborhood. One form is the only difference between those two tax bills. One critical rule in most states, this form must be filed between January 1st and April 30th of the year you turn 65. Miss that window, and in some states, the opportunity is gone permanently. Do not wait. Call your county assessor today and ask for the Senior Assessment Freeze application by name. Form 4 is the circuit breaker. When your annual property tax rises past a certain percentage of your total household income, usually between 3 and 6% depending on your state, the state refunds you the excess. You file a state form, usually alongside your state income tax return, even if you owe no state income tax. Massachusetts, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New York, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Illinois all have versions of this for seniors. The income limits are not as low as most people assume. Maryland's threshold is near $60,000. This is not a poverty program, it is a working middle-income retiree program. If your property tax bill is consuming a meaningful portion of a fixed monthly income, search for the circuit breaker property tax credit in your state and file the form. Here's a question for the comments before Form 5. How many of you are currently paying a property tax bill on a home you have fully paid off, and that bill keeps climbing every single year with no end in sight? Drop a number in the comments. How much do you pay annually on your property tax right now? I want to show people watching this channel exactly how much money is sitting in these forms. Form 5 is the property tax deferral. And this is the form almost nobody talks about because every county that offers it treats it like a state secret. If you are a homeowner over a qualifying age, usually 62 or 65 depending on the state, and you have lived in your home long enough, you can file an application to stop paying property tax entirely. The state pays it on your behalf. The deferred amount becomes a low-interest lien on the home, settled only when you sell, refinance, or the property passes to your heirs. Oregon, California, Washington, Colorado, Texas, Tennessee, and others all offer versions of this. For the homeowner who is house rich and cash poor, who has built a lifetime of equity in a home, they refuse to leave but struggles to keep up with the annual bill. This one form can be worth more than all the others combined. If you have a mortgage, confirm with your lender first before filing. For the paid-off home, the application is clean and simple. 3 bonus moves before we close. If you served in the military, the Disabled Veteran Property Tax Exemption exists in nearly every state. A 100% service-connected rating in Texas, Florida, and Virginia means 0 property tax for life. Even a partial rating often translates to a proportional exemption stacked on top of everything else on this list. File this form if you served. When a spouse passes away, their senior exemptions and their assessment freeze do not automatically transfer to the surviving partner in most states. File the paperwork within the deadline, or the tax bill can jump overnight on the exact household that just lost half its income. And finally, protest your appraisal. Every county in this country has a right to protest process. File a 1-page protest within 30 to 60 days of your appraisal notice. Bring 3 comparable sales from your immediate neighborhood that came in lower than your assessed value and present your case to the review board. No lawyer required. No filing fee. Fewer than 5% of homeowners ever do this, but nearly half the protests that are filed result in a reduction. Do it every single year. Here is what to do this week. Call your county assessor's office and ask whether the homestead exemption, the senior exemption, and the assessment freeze are all on file for your property in your name. If any one of them is missing, ask for the form and the filing deadline. If your household income is below $60,000, search for the circuit breaker property tax credit in your state. And if the monthly bill has become a genuine financial strain, ask your county treasurer about the property tax deferral program. Everything I just told you is free to file and free to apply for. Before you close this video, I want to make one final ask, and I am going to be direct with you about why. There are older adults in communities all across this country who are paying property tax bills they are legally exempt from right now. Not because they do not deserve better, but because not one single person has ever sat down and explained this to them. Some of them are your neighbors. Some of them are your parents. Some of them have worked their entire lives for the home they are sitting in, and they are watching their fixed income quietly drain to pay a bill that the law never required. Share this video with one of them today. Not tomorrow, today. Because every year that passes without these forms on file is another year of money that will never come back. Subscribe, share this. I will see you in the next one.